Good afternoon and good morning, depending on where you are, everyone. It's a Talk About It Tuesdays. My name is Sabrina Lowery. How you doing? How you doing, IG? Thank you for jumping on. So we are live for another webisode of Let's Talk About It. What are we talking about? What you got to talk about, Miss Lowery? I want to know what you're talking about. So I know you guys love to tune in and talk tech on a Tuesday, right? And if we're not talking tech, hey y'all, hey Marcus, Jake, thank you for jumping in. Say hello to all my IG followers and fans. We are live, right? And I want to just check in on Facebook and introduce my special guest so that you all can be introduced and some of you reintroduced to Miss Lorraine Beato. And Lorraine is a realtor just like I am. And Lorraine has a fantastic wealth of information that she is going to be sharing with all of you. And before we leave today, you will have a new connection and someone that I know, like, and trust, and that I hope you will too. We're going to talk about it just a few minutes of your time, and I want to go ahead and introduce y'all. Say hey to Lorraine. Y'all say hey, hey, hey. Open your mic, darling, and let's talk about it. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome, awesome to see you, beautiful. Absolutely a great day. How about on your end?
No complaints. Got some clients in the pipeline that I'm taking out this afternoon. Moving and grooving as usual.
Absolutely. And so, what does a day of moving and grooving with Lorraine look like? Tell the people about yourself and how long you've been a realtor in the Atlanta market.
Sure. So as Sabrina said, I'm Lorraine Beato. I have been a realtor in the Atlanta market since March of '96. Transplant from New York that wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and after working full-time in Manhattan, my background is mortgage-backed securities trading. I was going stir crazy, not knowing anyone in Atlanta. So I had been licensed since '88 in New York, just for fun. I did appraisals on the weekends and worked full-time. So about 3 months in of being in Atlanta, I said, I don't know anybody. I can't do this. So let me see if there's reciprocity. So there was. So that was when I first dove into real estate on the sales side. I had done everything else. As I said, I had done mortgage-backed securities trading. I was a licensed appraiser in New York. I did that on the weekends. We owned properties in another country. I had been a loan officer. So I thought, okay, why not try the sales side of it? Because I could make my own schedule.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about, right? And so, in that journey to entrepreneurship where you're not bound by a schedule, let's talk about what you and I did together for fun yesterday when it came to that time management piece and incorporating tech, right? And so, if you had a moment to just decompress after our time together and think about how that changed or empowered you to any degree, tell us what that experience was like for you.
It was great because, it sounds very cliche, but the saying you don't know what you don't know is very true. And I say that quite often to people. And so I knew that there are other avenues that I would like to explore and that I started exploring pre-COVID. And I had someone that was going to help me. And then, COVID hit, everybody's lives changed.
Absolutely.
And I was feeling a little lost. I know there were things that I needed to implement, but I didn't know where to start, how to do it, or what that technology looked like, what those systems were.
Absolutely.
So I popped on over to Sabrina's office yesterday after we were at a real estate investing meetup last week. And she's like, girl, not last week, the week before, we should get together. So it was great because I now feel like I have an action plan. There are places of items that I could be monetizing that I'm not. And it's all about multiple streams of income and, sharing the knowledge as well, because I love to empower people and make them understand and learn, what options they have out there if they're looking to invest and expand, their wealth and their portfolios.
All right, now shifting gears, talking about investing in wealth. How about's a perfect segue? Miss Author Lorraine Beato, ladies and gentlemen, give her a hand, give her hands. Tell us about Flip the Switch, my dear.
Yes, so this is Flip the Switch. I don't know if you can see it because I'm not good with these virtual background things. Here we go.
Got you, got
There
you.
we go. And Flip the Switch has probably been kind of not really in the works, but it's an idea that came up about 3 years ago when I was speaking on some panels, such as our good friend Ramon and Flipology, and I'd spoken for Atlanta REIT at their Find, Fun, Fix, and Flip. And I just started posting pictures because I love pictures. I'm a big picture taker, and I love Instagram. And I started posting pictures, and I started having real estate agents reach out to me saying, hey, I didn't know you taught real estate agents how to fix and flip.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought to myself, I said, well, I don't, but I can. And I started having more agents come to me, and I decided, I was working with someone else at the time, and, you know, like I said, things happened, and I decided to just go with Flip the Switch because I am an agent that invests. I am an agent who works with investors. And I found that there's a hole in the market. Most real estate agents don't like investors because they think they lowball everything.
Right.
Well, hello, no one's ever taken the time to explain to them why that is.
Right.
So I started down the path of Flip the Switch. I had a law firm reach out to me, asked me to teach my course, which it wasn't a course at the time. And I did. So we had about 30 agents in the audience, and I explained to them why, you know, when you look at the MLS and an investor sees that a property is, you know, oh, it's great, calling all investors 20,000 below appraisal, why those numbers still don't work. So I took an actual deal and I broke down the numbers because real estate agents don't understand or just haven't thought about it is probably a better word, that investors have holding costs. If they have hard money, they're making hard money payments. They're paying utilities. They're paying taxes. They have two closings. They close when they buy, they close when they sell. They have realtor costs on the other end. So when I took a deal and I broke it down and showed them why most investors buy at 65% to 70% of the after repair value, or 65 to 70 cents on the dollar, I could just see their faces, like the light bulb went off. And that was just awesome. That was the best thing for me. And I got amazing feedback after the workshop. And that's when I decided to just sit down and write a book with some case studies of how I was able to take advantage of some situations in the regular real estate world that it didn't suit the seller to particularly put their house on the market and have people come through. And so I was able to solve their problems. And in solving the seller's problem, I acquired rental properties. And most real estate agents, one of them was because it was an agent that had referred a listing to me up on Lake Lanier. She didn't know what to do with it. And so I have a lake property, I have some rentals, and they're all things that at some point would have been listings. Of course, you know, you have to speak to the seller and you have an honest conversation with those people to let them know, you know, what is your pain point? Here's how I can solve it. Does this work for you? And make it a win-win on both ends.
Absolutely.
So that was part of it. And then the other part of it was a conversation I had with a very good friend of mine who was turning 60, who has been a multi-million-dollar producer as a solo agent, and was complaining to me that her back hurt and she'd been in the car with buyers for 5 weeks and that she was going to have to sell houses until she was 70. She was about to turn 60. And it kind of blew my mind. This is a smart woman, corporate America, Chicago. And I said, why? And she said, I don't have any retirement. And that kind of blew me out of the water. And there is no one out there advocating for real estate agents to invest in the thing that they sell every single day.
Absolutely.
So off I went, and here I am.
That's awesome. And mind you, this mindset shift happened during what season, dear?
COVID. Well, no, post.
The what season, ma'am?
I was going to say part of it was COVID, but that's, yes, I launched the book in the middle of COVID because I said the very first sentence in my book was something to the effect of, the real estate market is changing or shifting. And here we are in the middle of this. And I started with, the premise that agents were afraid of iBuyers, right? And Zillow and iBuyers were going to come in and take our jobs. And I'm like, so what are you doing to prepare? And then who knew that we would get hit with a pandemic? Um, Literally 3 weeks after I had submitted my book into Amazon.
Okay, so talk about that journey, Lorraine, because I also am an author on Amazon. Whoop to the Amazon best-selling authors. Hey, y'all. Hey. Anywho, we are going to make bestsellers list because that is part of our goals and our plans. And we talked about that, right?
We
So
did.
now that you have in your mindset this whole creating cash opportunities, right? You accepted my challenge to embrace the technology, right? And do you feel like it's doable? Is it a SMART goal? Is it specific? Is it measurable, attainable, relevant, and realistic at the same time?
Yes,
And of
ma'am.
course, time bound, right? We gonna get her done in a how long? Some weeks, some months, some years. Because it's different for everybody depending on your levels, right? We talked about our
Correct.
60 to 80-year-old family members. Okay, what generation is that, Miss Kim? What's them the Gen X before them?
Gen Gen Z, the baby boomers.
The boomers. Hey, shout out to the boomers, y'all. Shout out. Hey, hey, hey.
So
They're
it's
our
funny because in my
clients.
family, we have a boomer. So my husband's the boomer. I'm the Gen X. Then we have a Gen Z and a Gen Y. So we've got one in each category in my family.
Okay, boom. So now that we're talking about flipping the switch as
Yes.
an agent, as an investor, tell all of our viewers who are live streaming, and hey y'all, hey y'all, hey, if y'all have any questions for Lorraine, definitely. Kim said her group was the Bombers, my cousin Rosa in Jersey. These are my Jersey people, y'all. Lorraine is from New York. These are my peoples. These are my peoples right here, right? Shout out to all the NYC, all the Jersey people in his house. How y'all doing? So I want y'all to make sure I give some shout outs because we've got some live streamers in the group. Hey, I'm gonna send a wave to Donica. How you doing? Hey, Leroy, thank you for jumping in. Hey, Benita, how you doing? Benita Applebaum. I'm feeling some New York hip hop right now, right?
I can hear it in the voice too.
Right? Clyde, how you doing? Angela, hey, how you doing? We got all of our viewers live right now, y'all. So we're repping a few generations, but when we're talking about that generational wealth, let's shift, pivot with me, darling. Wealth Strategies 101 from Lorraine Beato. What does that look like when you're incorporating real estate as your pathway to wealth?
So for me, for me personally, it's about building my portfolio and building my net worth, along with passive income, because we have some rentals. And I've been having a debate with a good friend of mine who's in the multifamily space. And we have the battle all the time, what's better, single families or multifamilies? And it's your personal choice. That's the beauty of it. One of the other things that I've just recently started exploring was note investing in notes, because then I'm not dealing with tenants and toilets and evictions. And even if you have a property manager, at the end of the day, the buck stops with you.
Hold on. That was a hashtag moment. Did y'all hear that? She said, the buck stops with you. I just wanted to rehash that. You know, we've got some live streamers. Hey, y'all. Thank you for checking in with Lorraine Beato and I. She is dropping some knowledge right now. So I just want to give her the floor to get on a whole soapbox about why people don't know about these things as licensees or otherwise, Lorraine. Like, we've paid our dues to real estate, right? Literally and figuratively, because you know that check, we just talked about that check, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
board dues, girl.
We did.
Shout out to Atlanta Realtors anyway. I just want to make y'all know it's a whole conversation and a budget, okay? Right? Okay, to all my realtors, yes, she did. The buck stops with you. Hey, Heidi, thank you for jumping on. We're talking to Lorraine Beato. Y'all go follow her on IG, okay? To my IG people. Back to Lorraine. Talk to them about one of the strategies that you share in your book. And while you're doing that, I'm going to drop the link in the comments. Okay. Tell
All
the
right.
people.
Well, that sounds great. So I have a couple. I will share the most recent one, which happened during this wonderful pandemic that we have, which, there's always opportunities in every market. Now, do your due diligence, be cautious. I am sometimes overly cautious, but I've worked hard for my money, so I want to make sure I keep it. As realtors, and I'll speak, and this goes for realtors, this goes for, just general people looking to invest in real estate. I know a lot of wholesalers. I know a ton of people. It comes down to solving a problem for someone else. I had someone who never actually became a client. She became a friend who had reached out to me about 3 years ago, maybe more, about a property that she had in Smyrna that was a rental that she was just kind of over being a landlord.
Heard that one before.
Yep. So I went out there and I looked at the property and, ran the numbers, went through everything. And I said, look, at this point in time, if you want to put it on the market, I'm happy to do that for you. But you need to understand that even if I did this at zero commission, you're bringing 25 to 30 grand out of your pocket to the table. So there are real estate agents that wouldn't care, that would probably just want the listing and go after the business. And I instead told her, you have a property that's cash flowing. Why don't you just hold on to it and let's see what the market does? Come 2020, it was February, before all the craziness happened. And she called me and she said, hey, do you remember that property in Smyrna? And I said, yes. She said, okay, God is telling me I need to get rid of it. I need to go. So I'm calling you to see if you can run the numbers. The townhome next door sold about a year ago. It sold for about 120. And I'm like, okay, well, that's better because we were looking at 70,000 about 3-4 years ago. And I said, let me run the numbers and let me take a look. So I did. I got home, I ran the numbers and I said, oh, okay, well, man, rehab properties are selling for 150 to 159, same unit, same square footage, same everything. And I called her. So she said, well, that's great. Can you come look at the property? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And she said, I think I just want to walk away. I'm not sure that I want to deal with all this stuff. So I went to the property, walked around, and never, ever in my life did I think someone would pay me to take over their property. I've heard it, but I've never believed it. So we went through the house and she said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, it needs some work. The big things had been done, the HVAC, the roof, and my husband was walking around the outside. And she's like, well, I was thinking 5. And I'm thinking in my mind, okay, she wants $5,000 for the property. And she had already agreed for me to take it over subject to, meaning I was buying the property by taking over her mortgage, in a nutshell. And I shook my head and she said, well, what's the matter? What are you thinking? And I said, I think that might be a little bit much, but let me talk to my husband. And she goes, what you talking about? Another New Yorker. She goes, let's go outside, let's talk. And I said, what's going on? I said, I know you have a grandson. I said, he's what, probably 7 or 8 by now? Now, this was a conversation we had 3 years ago. Listen, people. And she said, how do you remember all that? I said, you have a son who's in the military. You have a grandson who's about 7 or 8. I said, aren't they like in Kentucky or something? And she was blown out of the water that I remembered everything. She goes, with everything you have going on, you remember all of that? And I said, yes. Dope.
Yeah.
So we got outside and that's when she tells me she wanted to pay me $5,000 to take over the property because she had a long-term 8-year tenant who always paid on time, who she wanted to make sure would A, still have a place to live, that we wouldn't displace her, right, and B, that she knew we would be good landlords, that she was entrusting her tenant to us. And so we did. We closed in the middle of March. I told her I couldn't accept $5,000. I said, I can't do that in good conscience. So I said, how about 2,500? I'll make some repairs and you pay closing costs. And boom, I have a cash flowing rental that I acquired in the middle of COVID with, thank God, knock on wood, a tenant that pays on the first of the month.
For the next 8 years. For the next 8 years. For the
The
next
next 8
8 years.
years or 10 years or whatever. And
Winning.
get this, it is down the street from the Battery.
Oh, dope.
Smyrna.
Okay. You know, that's my neck of the woods. That's a shout out to Smyrna. Smyrna. That's awesome, girl.
So
So,
had I, go ahead. I was gonna
no.
say, so had I not listened and paid attention and I asked her what was going on, right? That was my other part of the question before I said, what's going on? And she said, I want to retire and I want to go to Florida and I want to just walk away and make sure my tenant is in good hands.
Mm. There's a story, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna need her to drop the mic, exit stage right, because she just dropped a whole bomb on all of y'all. I hope you caught that. I hope you caught that. I hope you caught that. So, for all of the non-licensed professionals, Lorraine, how do you bring value to the people?
By just educating them. I love to teach. It's kind of
Hey,
innate.
Nancy Watson, she's online. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about you yesterday, Miss Nancy.
Yes.
Good things, of course.
Yes.
So the way I bring value is I will sit down and I have consulted with some people that, you know, like, hey, I have some money. What do I do? What does investing look like? And I just kind of go through, you know, do you have money? Do you have time? What's the best fit for you? Because there are multiple investing strategies in real estate. Most people think it's fix and flip or cash flow. But as I mentioned, there's mortgage notes. You can be a joint venture partner. You can be a private lender. There's tax lien investing. I mean, there are so many different ways to invest in real estate that it's really honing in. And, you know, what do they say? What's that saying? Be the master of, if you do too much, you're like the master of none or something. I can't think of the saying.
Mm-hmm.
Pick what you think will suit you and don't try to do everything. Pick one thing, get to know it really, really well.
Exactly.
And then at that point, move on.
Exactly. So this is the moral of the story, y'all. Kim, you love my energy. I love yours too, boo. I do. I just love you. And so, Lorraine, this is what I'm going to put us in our little holding pattern right quick. So this is the moral of the story today. You guys, Lorraine and I are both realtors. We have known each other for years. And staying in our own lane, you sometimes block your blessing. And what I mean by that is something called collaboration over competition. If you know what I'm talking about, don't get the tech evangelist to preaching. I want to tell y'all about what the collaboration over the competition is looking like. Okay, hold on for the message, y'all. Okay, so I'm talking to the IG people too, Lorraine. You've got some live streamers tuned in, okay? So all
Okay.
of our Facebookers, hey, Dr. Kim, thank you for jumping on. I just love your energy too, sis. I really do. So listen, I want to tell you guys what collaboration over competition looks like. In real estate, when you have realtors that specialize, like Lorraine said, in a niche, every person that has a real estate license has another skill set. Please believe it. Not all of us were born with the real estate bug. You feel me? Okay. Outside of the bug for real estate, it then becomes an investment because now it is an official business that you're operating through a business license through the Secretary of State and the Georgia Real Estate Commission, okay? And then you start talking about, I'm educating the people. Well, are you licensed and certified for that too? That is another pathway to monetize an opportunity. So those of us that have been in real estate for years, we become not just a subject matter expert, air quotes, yes. We are advisors. Understand the difference. We are not attorneys. We are consultants. Okay, so let's reiterate: collaboration over competition among consultants. Y'all like that? Somebody hashtag that. Lorraine and I have decided in our pathways that there are opportunities that we can create cash together. Why? Because her superpowers are different from mine. My superpowers are different from hers. But as we are seeing here side by side, there are levels of equal opportunity for all. And I mean that, right, Lorraine? Like,
Absolutely.
the real estate community can be very um competitive,
Dog eat dog.
okay? But when realtors agree to cooperate and collaborate, don't y'all know how many more cash opportunities come to the table, that it's a win for you and a win for me? Why? Because we're collaborating. There was a specific goal. You and I sat and strategized and talked about the whole thing, did we not? After doing such and such, we will have X this, material that, digital assets, what, repurpose content, what, a whole call to action, what, a sale, what, Amazon.com. The link is in the post. Y'all get Lorraine's book. To the hashtags, to the whole nuggets, to the wealth building, to the real estate investment, to the real estate pathway. Lorraine, it has been a pleasure talking with you on a Tuesday, sis.
Oh, well, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. I love your energy. Oh man, we have to do this more often because we got the northern girls here hanging out.
Absolutely, but we're more than hanging out, right? There is a
Right.
intention
And a purpose.
behind everything that Sabrina Lowery touches. And when I bring a strategy and a mastermind, shout out to all the legacy masterminds tuned in right now. How y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in. I just want to continue, as long as breath is in me, to not just empower you, but to connect you with collaborators. We are creators. We're creating opportunities for y'all. But in doing that in our community, especially in real estate, it should not be a competition. If Lorraine says to me, as a real estate broker in the state of Georgia, I'm looking to raise capital for investments in real estate. Isn't that a different conversation that somebody comes to us asking us for help on passing the real estate license exam? Okay, so those are the conversations that you have to have with each other in order to create the opportunity. Because had we not deeper dived and spent hours together, we would have never learned our superpowers over just having an online relationship, truth be told, right? When we came together, we did it offline,
Yeah.
intentionally, on purpose. Not to mention, I'm gonna bring all the energy. Sabrina is in the house, girl. Y'all better know it. Yes, okay, it is always there. Because if I don't do that, y'all don't come back for more. And what is the best thing that I can do for y'all is to edutain you. So, with that being said, Lorraine, let's tell the people how to connect with you. Shout out to the book one more time. Tell everybody where to get it, how to connect with you. I got the website popping on the IG so they can see that, and they can see your book cover. Y'all see that beautiful cover? Look at your girl right there. Let me pan on live streaming, powered by the joystick. Y'all can't see it, but it's right here. Okay, go ahead. Tell the people, Lorraine.
Sure, absolutely. So I am pretty easy to find being a realtor, just Google me. But you can follow me on Instagram at Lorraine Beato. My non-realtor kind of everything else website is lorrainebeato.com. Flip the Switch is on Amazon. I'm excited. I have 19 5-star reviews, goals to get to 25. So flip the switch from real estate agent to real estate investor. But if you do just flip the switch and put my name, you'll find it.
I sure did. I
Um,
Googled it, honey. I said, Flip the switch, Lorraine Beato. Google was like, humana, humana, humana. Here it is.
Here we go. Awesome. Well, thank you. LinkedIn's another great platform. I am Lorraine Beato across all of my channels, and the lovely Sabrina Lowery will help me with my YouTube, which is Lorraine Beato 1. Had an issue with YouTube. We're trying to figure that out. So anything I can do to help, feel free to reach out.
Yep.
And email is lorrainebeato@gmail.com or lorraine@lorrainebeato.com. Like I said, I'm pretty easy to find.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I just appreciate you for even all of our years sharing stages and platforms and running in circles amongst one another and never seeing it harmful to say hello, to encourage one another, and now to do the collaborating piece. I look forward to creating many more cash opportunities with you, darling.
I do too. I'm so excited, and thank you so much for your
It's
time
my
yesterday.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. All right, Legacy Masterminds. And for those of y'all tuned in on IG, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I hope you have too. And Lorraine Beato, my very special guest, there's her book right here in the background. IG, y'all go on Amazon, Google her. Lorraine, thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been another fantabulous webisode of Let's Talk About It Tuesdays. I am yours truly, the tech evangelist, better known as Mrs. Sabrina Lowery. Y'all be good.